I added frogs into Minecraft, and it was a riveting experience. I also started on adding the new biome for these frogs from the 1.19 wild update into the game, which has kept me quite swamped in work. So if you enjoy the video and my cringy dad puns, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Anyways, let's hop right into it. My friend AlphaXenopete82 created this frog model for me, and I immediately went to work on writing some code for the frog to actually be able to function. I then went inside of the game to test it for the first time, and as you can tell, everything worked perfectly. I didn't have to fix anything After a few minor adjustments, the frog worked a little better now. Next, I had to create a walking animation for the frog so that they weren't just hovering across the ground. And I'd say it's looking pretty good. I don't know about you, but that's basically how I look when I walk. But in fear of giving people nightmares of my demonic walking frog, I made a different walking animation and loaded the frogs into the game, and they're looking pretty good. They can function on a basic level and don't just hover around everywhere. I also made them jump really high because they are frogs, and that is what frogs do. Next, I wanted to give the frogs a place to live. Specifically, the new Mangrove Swamp showcased at Minecraft Live this year. So I spent about 2 hours creating a texture for the mangrove logs, and here it is. I know it looks absolutely terrible, but I'm also not a texture designer, so I guess we just have to use it. Seizing Bonsai17 designed a texture for the mangrove leaves, which turned out really good. With the leaves and the logs designed, I was able to start designing how the trees would look inside of the game, and it has started looking pretty good, though I may branch out to new designs in the future. I then spent about 2 hours designing the mangrove propagules, which is this weird branchy type block that gets placed around the bottom of mangrove trees, and wouldn't you know it, it also turned out not great. I think I'm just going to stick to my roots and not focus on designing textures. But sadly, I don't know how to waterlog custom blocks, so I can't place these blocks inside of water without it looking weird. But I should hopefully find a solution to that here soon. I also decided that it would be cool if there was a larger version of the mangrove tree, so I created exactly that. And having different sized trees in the swamp definitely gives a cool feeling to the biome. Next, I had me Marias design a mud block to go with the mangrove swamps, and it turned out really good. I covered the ground with the new mud block, and then started placing even more mangrove trees around the area. While designing the actual layout of the mangrove swamps, I wanted to do some research on real-life mangroves to make sure I was creating them how they are supposed to be. And I found quite a few articles online with good information. One of the things that I commonly noticed in my research is that mangroves are really difficult to explore due to the crazy growing trees and the mud. So I designed the area to be covered in mud and pools of water, and I also made it to where you were slowed down as you walk on mud, making it a lot harder to get around in this biome. I also covered parts of it with the mangrove trees, and with the propagules growing all over the place from the trees, it very quickly became hard to get around in the swamp, which is exactly what I wanted. You can use a boat to help you get around some of the area though, since there is a lot of lakes and rivers in the area. And speaking of boats, you can use one of the new chest boats to get around as well. As you would expect, the chest boats are just like regular boats, but you can store your items inside of a chest that is attached to the back of the boat. After working on the mangrove swamp design for a while, I went back to working on frogs, and figured I should give them some sounds in game. And of course, like the genius I am, I thought it would be fun to record all the sounds myself. And, well... Ribbit, 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 ribbit.
Frog, ribbit, ribbit.
I think my voice is a little too perfect,
frog,
so I better just
ribbit,
use some
ribbit.
pre-recorded material.
Ribbit.
And that is a lot better. Next, I worked on adding tadpoles into the game, which are the baby version of frogs. They're pretty tiny and didn't require a lot of coding, so it didn't take long for me to get them in the game and working. But since they only exist underwater, I figured I should spruce up the lakes and ponds that generate all around mangrove swamps. So I layered the inside of these ponds with mud, seagrass, and sea pickles, which created a nice home for the tadpoles to live in. And since the mangrove trees are usually tightly packed together, these ponds also have propagules and vines hanging over them, which I think makes for a really cool effect. At this point, I had gotten a lot of the basic features I wanted into the game for the mangrove swamps, so I started working on some minor quality of life changes, like how mud now makes a slimy and gross sound when you walk across it. I also had Seizing Bonsai17 design a texture for the mangrove planks, which looks really nice. There was a witch hut that generated in the area I was working in, and instead of tearing it down, I thought that transforming it with the new mangrove planks would be cool, and I think the new design fits in well. Something that I wanted to integrate for this biome was it gives off a different feeling during the day compared to the feeling it gives off at night. That way, exploring it at different times of the day would lead to different experiences, which I think is really cool. So to make the nighttime specifically special for this biome, I made it to where the pools of water scattered around give off a slight glow when it gets dark. I think this ambient lighting effect makes the biome look really cool at nighttime. But by far the best time to look at this biome is right between the day and night, right as the sun is setting. This biome looks absolutely amazing at sunset. And with that, the new Mangrove Swamp biome is complete. Once I fix some bugs and other things in this add-on pack, I'll be releasing it onto my Patreon page for my members to download. So if you want access to the add-on pack, become a member today. This is also the first episode in a series I'm starting where I'm going to be adding new biomes to the game or updating old biomes to make the game feel more alive. So if you want to see those future episodes, make sure to hit the subscribe button and leave a like on this video. Also, leave a comment down below letting me know what your favorite things about the Mangrove Swamps are. Also, I want to give a huge thank you to everyone who helped me make this add-on. You all did a great job. Also, thank you to all my Patreon members. You guys are the best. And with that, I'll see you all next time.